Good morning and welcome to this edition of the National Newspaper Publishers Association's Let It Be Known on this Tuesday, February 1st, 2022, the kickoff of Black History Month. This morning, we're going to bring you the headlines to start your day. Joining us right now from the West Side Gazette is the publisher of that newspaper down in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, Bobby Henry. We're also expected to be joined by the president and CEO of the National Newspaper Publishers Association, Dr. Benjamin Chavis, and the publisher of the Omaha Star, Terry Sanders. But first, Bobby, thanks for joining us this morning.
Okay, good morning. And how's everybody doing?
Everybody is doing fantastic. As you would say, terrific and getting better.
Terrific and getting better. Wow. Stacey, I know you guys are up north on the northeastern part of this fabulous country. It's probably trying to roll yourselves out from under a blanket of snow and the freezing weather. Down here in Fort Lauderdale, we're experiencing some cold too. Right now it's about 55 degrees.
And he say it with a laugh.
Yes.
So 55 though, but Bobby, 55 degrees in Fort Lauderdale. Give us an idea what's that like? Say compared to us here in the north, as you say.
Okay, if you experience cold is cold. Whatever degree of temperature, if you're accustomed to 90, 85 degree weather, and then it gets down in the 50s, that's cold. A couple of days ago, we had temperatures, believe it or not, here in Fort Lauderdale, 39 and 41 degrees. Now, it's so cold that the creature that we refer to as chicken of the trees, the world famous iguanas, is so cold that they actually freeze and fall out of the trees. Yeah. So that's kind of and then our citrus fruits, we have to really baby them, cover them with blankets or keep a fire burning in the orange orchids, if you will. What do we call orange groves? So we have to really take care of those trees that crop. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
But cold is cold, and seriously, it's so much so that the homeless shelters, they open their doors, they welcome everybody in, and the process is still COVID safety, but they welcome everybody in blankets. They do the best they can to try to keep people warm, because it does wreak havoc. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Well, let's bring on the president and CEO of the National Newspaper Publishers Association, Dr. Benjamin Chavis Jr. Dr. Chavis, good morning.
Good morning, Stacey Brown, and good morning to Bobby Henry. Always glad to see our great publisher in South Florida taking care of the business. And on behalf of all of our 230 African-American owned newspapers and media companies across the country, this is another Tuesday to let it be known.
Yes.
Well, it is another Tuesday, Dr. Chavis, but no ordinary Tuesday, right? It's February 1st, Black History Month, and I understand you have something special going on today. It kicks off today, a Microsoft project. Can you just briefly fill us in?
Well, thank you very much. Microsoft is every day during Black History Month, they're honoring people, recognizing people, saluting people who make some contributions to the ongoing Black history. And we're very fortunate that on the first day, they've chosen the NNPA and chosen the work I'm doing also with the Thurgood Marshall Center Trust here in DC. And then later, I'm the keynote speaker for the citywide DC Black History Month celebration virtually, because today I'm in Houston, Texas, visiting our distinguished chair. So, we're working throughout the country, north, south, east, west. I'm so proud of the Black press. We are amplifying the voice of Black America. We're amplifying the voice of people of African descent all over the world. And this is the 195th year of the Black press of America. And so we celebrate Black history by amplifying the voice of the constituencies that we serve.
Absolutely. And Dr. Chavis and Bobby Henry, the headlines this morning: 6 more HBCUs received bomb threats on Monday. The threats occurred at Southern University and A&M College in Louisiana, Howard University in Washington, D.C., Bethune-Cookman University in Florida, Albany State University in Georgia, Bowie State University in Maryland, and Delaware State University. I'm also told late word that Morgan State also received threats. The threats disrupted each campus and have led to police investigations. Classes were canceled at 5 of the schools, and students were told to remain in their dorm rooms until an all clear was issued. University operations were also suspended until further notice. A Washington Metropolitan Police Department spokesman confirmed that at Howard, the scene was cleared with no hazardous materials found. It's the second time within the month of January that HBCUs received bomb threats, effectively shutting down classes and operations. On January 5th, at least 3 HBCUs, including Howard, received bomb threats. Nothing was found on any of the campuses that received the threats, but the fact is it greatly disrupted the institutions. And the question must be asked, why HBCUs are under such threats?
You know, we could only speculate that if enough chaos is created, then that atmosphere of what we consider to be a safe place for growing our brains and our institutions, if that is disrupted, then we risk the chance of the failure to educate, and that would be a tremendous loss. I know we're not a scared people. I understand that, but bombs, you know, that bombs and black people don't go well together. You know, the little girls in Alabama, you know, when things like that come to mind, begin to resonate, you know, we can really create a powder keg that could lead to civil unrest. I don't like saying that, but if you keep piling stuff on stuff, you're gonna get some stuff, and people get tired. You know, so I just, you know, I really don't understand. I hope and I pray that it's not some disillusioned student from those universities to take this opportunity to cause harm to an institution that they may have failed at. You know, and I hate to think that.
Yeah. Well, Bobby, you and Dr. Chavez are HBCU alums. Dr. Chavez at Howard University. I know that and Howard's been at the center of this too. Twice now, they have been the recipients of these bomb threats. Doc, your perspective on this?
Well, thank you. And I join my remarks with Bobby Henry. Let me say this. One of the reasons why Black History Month is so important, we have to learn from our history, not necessarily repeat our history. And let's look at the last 195 years. The Black press has reported the bombing of our churches, the bombing of our schools, the bombing of our homes, the bombing of our leaders. And so these threats are not out of a historical context. They're within the historical context. The question is, what is our response? We say that we are resilient people. We say that we are fearless people. But I'm also concerned about our young people. I hope that the students at HBCUs will not allow these threats. I hope that the teachers and administrators, I'm sure at these HBCUs, will not allow these threats to have a permanent disruption or even a temporary disruption on what we do so well at HBCUs. You know, they are the cradle of our intellectual wealth and support and vision, and we cannot allow anyone to, you know, to me, HBCUs are just as sacred as the Black church, just as sacred as the Black press. And so when one of our institutions is threatened, all of our institutions are threatened. And we need a united front of response. You know, this is 2022. Why is this happening in 2022? I believe this is another tactic to suppress our vote. In many states, they're trying not to even allow HBCU students to vote on their campuses. You know, and so all these suppression efforts, there's a reason why this is happening now. You know, these are not just idle, disconnected threats. And so what we must have as a plan, not just to react to injustice, but a plan for freedom, justice, and equality that sustains our ability to continue to move forward in spite of these threats, sometimes idle threats, but sometimes are real threats. So what we have to do is to stay on course, continue to press forward, continue to strive for excellence. Because I always say that the greatest response to voter suppression is outstanding, tremendous voter turnout. We need to overwhelm the polls. I want to overwhelm the white supremacists. I want to overwhelm the suppressionists. We have the ability to do that. But some of this is playing with our mind. This is playing with our mindset. What is our mindset as a people? You know, while trying to introduce fear, particularly among our young millennials and Generation Z. But if I know anything, and Bobby knows anything about our students at HBCUs, they're not going to let these threats be successful.
Well, we had one of those students on yesterday, our own NMPA TikTok manager, Carrington York. So we know how she represents so well. So we're going to continue to monitor that situation. Bobby, our next topic this morning is U.S. District Judge Lisa G. Wood rejected the plea deal reached by prosecutors and Travis McMichael on federal hate crime charges in the murder of Omar Albury. The deal would have allowed McMichael to serve his sentence in federal prison. At the time, the family said, "We respect the court's decision to not accept the sentence in terms of the proposed plea and continue to the hearing on Friday." Assistant Attorney General, I should say, Kristen Clark for the Civil Rights Division of the U.S. Department of Justice said that the Justice Department takes seriously its obligation to confer with the Albury family and their lawyers, both pursuant to the Crime Victim Rights Act and out of respect for the victim, before signing the proposed agreement reflecting the defendant's confessions to federal hate crimes. The Civil Rights Division consulted with the victim's attorneys and others, according to Kristen Clark. The family was not happy at all with this proposed plea agreement. In fact, Lee Merritt had said, the attorney for the Albury family, said that they were essentially given the father and son team, they were giving them a country club treatment by allowing them, because part of the deal is believed to have allowed them to serve it out 30 years in federal lockup instead of the more pressing situation that they would find in state prison. Let's listen to what the mother of Ahmaud Arbery had to say after the judge made her decision.
This morning was very, very stressful, knowing that we had rejected a plea on yesterday and they was going forward with it, but it ended well.
Yeah, it ended well. This is something to keep in mind when a plea agreement is reached, Bobby and Dr. Chavis. It doesn't mean that the judge has to go along with that agreement. Is between the prosecutor and the person, the defendant, right? So the family does have a say, and in this case, the Arbery family, his mother in particular, really spoke out.
Okay, okay, that's a lot to digest, Stacey. I was listening to the news as I was coming in this morning, and it may not be a bad thing to allow them to go ahead on the federal prison, because they got it. Every federal prison right this moment is on lockdown because of some riots inside. So, I don't say this lightly. Of course, I agree with the family wholeheartedly. That decision, I'm totally against it as well. But I do believe that there are consequences for all of our actions, and if that means those who have committed those crimes to be placed in situations where the atmosphere is of such, if the judicial system does not hand out terms of what's called justice, then maybe the injustices inside the institution will take care of itself. Now, I hate to say that, but there are actions, there are natural consequences for your action. And if they are placed in a federal prison where there is a tremendous amount of violence, then so be it. But I am totally in agreement with the family about that decision that is about to be made.
Yeah, Dr. Chavis, some have argued that it's another way another form of white privilege to allow these men to go to a federal prison. They were convicted of murder in a state court.
Yes. Well, keep in mind, I'm going to go back to what Ms. Albury said. She said it ended right. Now, why did it end right? First, because we have African Americans in the judiciary. We have an African American woman over the Civil Rights Division of the United States Justice Department, Christian Clark. So the reason why it ended right, because we have brothers and sisters in the system working in behalf to make sure that white supremacy doesn't ultimately prevail. So I'm looking at this not to cast aspersions, but to cast affirmations of the importance of African Americans being in the Justice Department, African Americans being on the state courts, on the federal courts, and quite frankly, we need to be running these correction institutions also to make sure that there is no unequal treatment where black inmates are treated one way, white inmates are treated another way, whether it's in federal prison or state prison. There's a lot of systematic injustice, systematic white supremacy throughout our country, in the courts, in the police department, in the corrections, and in the judiciary. And that's why having an African American woman now on the Supreme Court of the United States is a major step forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Dr. Chavis and Bobby Henry, as a lawyer, Chelsea Chris worked pro bono for low-level drug offenders. She founded White Collar Glam, a fashion blog dedicated to helping women dress professionally for office jobs, and model for Express's retail company. Chris, who won the 2019 Miss USA pageant and worked as a correspondent for the entertainment news television show Extra, reportedly committed suicide on January 30th in New York. Authorities said the beauty queen jumped to her death from the 29th floor of her apartment building. It's still being investigated. I noticed some social media users are saying, hey, wait a minute, let's not classify this as a suicide. We don't know. Her body was found in the street. This is a young woman, beautiful beauty queen, but not only a beauty queen, but she really, you talk about working for your community. She took on drug cases pro bono. She's an attorney who really looked to help those who couldn't help themselves. And now she's gone at 30. So there's a lot of components here. Obviously, the mental health component, as we've spoken about so much on this program. And then there's the other component too, the suspicious surroundings of her death. Her family did release a statement. They said that, she called her a beautiful soul. Of course, they are confused by her death.
Wow, that mental health, Stacey, that we've been talking about, it runs real deep, and that the old saying that beauty is from the inside, and if our souls are tormented, and I thought about committing suicide, so it's not a crazed person, it's situations and things that perhaps put us in a place where we don't see or we can't see a way out, because we have so much that is causing us to think indifferent to the way we should be thinking. And so when we hear of people, especially young people, who appear to have so much going on, decide to end their lives, it really pricks at me as a person to perhaps, what could I have done, if anything, better to be that knock at the door when someone is attempting to do something to divert them to answer the door, if you will, but they still have a choice. So we're confronted from an emotional standpoint of what can we do, and if we did do what we thought we could do, then that person is still left with that choice. So how do we influence to get a positive outcome from a choice to be made by someone who is in such a dark place, or in a place where there seems to be confusion and not clarity. So what do we do? How do we do this? And that still is the question that comes every time somebody decides to end their own life. So
this is, it's a testament to all of humanity, right? Dr. Chambers, we have to look after each other. There may be a lot going on. Obviously, in a lot of people's lives, there's a lot going on that you just don't know about, no matter what they may have. And in this case, she was a beauty queen. She was a top journalist at Extra. She was an intelligent lawyer, doing so much, had so much going for her. We have to check on those we love, don't we, Dr. Chambers?
Oh, absolutely. And again, I'm glad you brought this up on Let It Be Known. We have to be a more caring people, not only for people in our immediate families, but we should be care about what's going on in all families. And our sister was also, before becoming Miss Universe, she was Miss North Carolina. She was a homegirl, and had everything going for her. So, and if you look at her social media posts, if she actually posted those posts, she said shortly before this incident that she was hoping to find peace and rest. And I think that we need to look at sometimes Bob is right. I think that we don't talk about mental health enough until a tragedy happens. We need to be more proactive about mental health in our community. We need to be more proactive about environmental health in our community. 60% of all of our children in Harlem have asthma. They're not born with asthma, but they get asthma because of poor air conditions. Why did I bring that up? Because that also can contribute to how you see yourself, your own self-worth. And so we have to be a much more caring people. And again, you're going to hear me say this throughout 2022, Stacey and Bobby. Our response is not just to be with words, but with actions. We have to show and demonstrate in the Black press, in the Black church, in our businesses, in our communities, in our families, that we are caring people, first for ourselves and then for the rest of all of humanity.
Yeah. National Black History Month serves as both a celebration and a powerful reminder that Black history is American history, Black culture is American culture, and Black stories are essential to the ongoing story of America. Those are the words of President Joe Biden last night as he proclaimed February National Black History Month. Significance. Is there a significance in the president? I mean, Trump did a similar declaration. Other presidents have. Is there a significance in this? We know February is Black History Month. Are these just words to rally the base?
No, I think that you have to see who's making it. I think Trump did it much more symbolically. President Biden is doing it with actions. That's what I just said. People, you can't just judge people by what they say, it's by what they do. And so far, the Biden-Harris administration is the most diverse, racially diverse, ethnically diverse, in terms of women diverse in any administration in the history of America. So you have to judge. So is Biden taking Black History Month more seriously than other presidents? I would say yes.
And go ahead, Bobby.
Okay, yeah. The time that we had the opportunity to meet candidate Joe Biden at the time, one of the questions that I wanted to ask him, but I was overwhelmed over the fact that I had a chance to meet this guy, was, look, if we approach this thing as a chef would, Mr. Biden, what would be some of the ingredients that you would have in your cabinet if you are a chef cooking and you want the best seasoning? And so what would you have in your kitchen cabinet? He has shown that he does have an array of seasonings, if you will. He is one of the most has the most diverse cabinet of all presidents. So I do take his comments seriously. Now, what I may question is the time that he does it. That's all. But I think he's sincere about what he's doing. I stand with him, and I am extremely pleased as what Chef President Joe Biden has in his kitchen cabinet when it comes to cooking, to prepare meals for the people to digest. So I do believe he's sincere at what he's saying. I can't wait to see his choice of the Supreme Court justice, and whomever he puts in that position. I know that person will be well qualified in representing us. So it does not matter. We're not going to be confused by some form of systemic racism to bring some separation on us as a people of who the president decides to appoint for a Supreme Court justice.
Well said, Bobby. And our final news item of the morning is all about Rihanna this morning. Rihanna has done everything at 33 years old. She's a billionaire with a line of lingerie and other products that are the hottest in all the industry. Fans beg for her new music, which routinely tops the charts, and designers repeatedly look to her to set trends. But the only thing that the Barbadian superstar hasn't accomplished was to be a mom. That's about to change. Rihanna and A$AP Rocky announced that they are expecting. It will be Rihanna's first child, and something she predicted would happen a few years ago when she told reporters that within 10 years, she would start a family. In a 2021 interview, A$AP Rocky, who had been close friends with Rihanna for years and who started dating her 2 years ago, called her the love of his life and said fatherhood was in his destiny. He added that he would have a very fly child. You can't help but to have a fly child with Rihanna. So congratulations to Rihanna. Doc, I know you follow Rihanna closely, her career and what she's been able to accomplish. She just never stops. She's kind of like a young Dr. Chambers. She never stops.
Well, Rihanna, our Caribbean sister, our African queen sister, such genius. But she also gives back to the community. When we had the Hip Hop Summit, she was right there, supportive, along with Jay-Z, Beyonce. And in fact, Jay-Z was the one that signed her to Universal Records. So I think that she's had an outstanding career. We say on behalf of the Black press, congratulations to Rihanna, and congratulations to her significant other. I think that this is about family. We are strong supporters of family, and we hope that her career and her family will converge, because sometimes people have to make a choice, either their career or their family. But in the Black community, we do both. We embrace our careers, but we also take time for our family, take time for our children, take time for our grandchildren. And when I say that, going back to the earlier comment, every child in our community should belong to our family. Our concept of how we care for one another, our concept of how we protect one another, our concept of how we support one another. And this is what, if you look at the 195 years of the Black press, you'll see that we've always focused on those, not just the champions and those that exceed well, but at the benefit of striving for excellence, and newest benefit for even those who are less fortunate, even those who may not have found their God-given gifts and talent. They're also still part of our family, our concern, and our support base.
Yeah, Bobby, we got about 30 seconds.
Sure. Could you bring that picture back up with Brianna and her husband? This to me shows how diverse we are, and how warm and caring we are. Here it is, it's cold outside. There's enough warmth and the love between those two that she can expose her body to the temperatures outside, and she's not affected. And I'm just amazed at how this beautiful queen is displaying her natural motherhood without any embarrassment, with nothing but love, draped in royalty. I'm sure those are rubies and emeralds and diamonds that she has around her neck. And she's clothed herself. She has exposed her child to the elements, protected by the love of Black people. So I'm just amazed and amused at how we can endure everything else and still protect and love each other. So congratulations to Rihanna and her fiance, her husband.
Well said. Thank you so much for that commentary. Bobby Henry of the West Side Gazette, Dr. Benjamin Chavis, the president and CEO of the National Newspaper Publishers Association. Thank you all for joining us on Let It Be Known. We will see you tomorrow.